Hey guys, Andrew from Seemu here, and today I'm going to introduce core graphics to you guys. So what is core graphics, you might ask? It allows you to create 2D objects and also animate them, and you can customize it quite extensively. It's a lightweight framework that sits below UI Kit, and it's quite flexible and very fast in what it does. The downside is that it requires a lot of setup and knowledge to use. So let's take a look at drawing a square shape with core graphics in code to get a feel of it and what it can be used for. To start drawing a square in our app, we've created a brand new single view application. We haven't done anything to it yet. So to draw a square, it needs to be done in code with core graphics. So to do that, we'll do let square path equals UI visor path brackets, and I'm just going to comment that with number 1. This will be used later to explain how the drawing actually works. Then we'll do square path dot move, and 2 will be a CG point. The X and Y coordinates will be 100, 100. Then I'm going to comment 3 and 4. To do square path dot add line, 2 will be CG point brackets X and Y once again, and that's going to be 200 and 100 this time. And we're just going to copy this add line here. So we've got a grand total of 3 times. The second one will be 200, 200, and the final one will be 100 then for Y 200. And this is basically going to let us draw the square on the screen. Do square path dot close to stop drawing the square. Finally, we'll do let square equals CA shape layer. And comment that with 6. And we'll do square dot path equals square path dot CG path. Comment that with 7. The square dot fill color equals UI color dot red dot CG color. Comment that out with 8. And finally, do self dot view dot layer dot add sub layer, and finally square. So this is going to draw a square on the screen. I'm just going to run the app to show you what drawing, because sometimes even though you don't understand the code fully, actually seeing it work in action and playing around with it can help your understanding. So I'm going to show you the square on the screen, and then I'll step through how this code actually works, because it's quite confusing. And just after close, I'll add 5 to that as well in a comment. Okay, so we can see our app's running, and we have a red square drawn on the screen. So that's drawn by our code here. So what's going on exactly? Well, I've got an animation here of how it actually works step by step with the code. So I'll just show that to you now, and that will probably make a lot more sense. So to start off with, these first 2 lines, it moves a point to 100, 100, which you can see here on the right. Then it adds a line to this 200, 100 point. It will finally add a line to this 200, 200 point. It will draw another line to this 100, 200. And by drawing lines, it will connect the previous point you've drawn to the current point you're referring to. So this 100, 200 here gets connected up to the previous line we added, which is the 200, 200. Finally, calling close will close off this path. So it will close that shape, which is a square. Finally, this block of code here will draw that square and fill it in with red. So let that animation run through 2 more times, and you can see it going step by step how it actually works. So it starts making a lot more sense when you can see it run through line by line. Okay, so I'll go back to the code now and further explain it. So on step 1, this is defining a new UI bias path, which is used to draw the shape path in coordinates. So you draw the path of the actual shape. This second step here, which is number 2, will move the pencil to the starting coordinates. So it's not an actual pencil, but think of it as drawing on a piece of paper. You move your pencil to the starting coordinates. So these steps here, each one, you use your pencil to draw a line from the previous point to the new point. So this is the point here. Then this one will draw from the line of code above it to this point here, and then so on to this point here. This will repeat until we have the outline of a square drawn, which is indicated by these coordinates. So if you play around these coordinates, you can get different shapes that aren't a square, add more lines or points. So have a play around and you can see your shape actually changing. Finally, on number 5, when the square has finished drawing, we need to close it off, which is kind of, think of it removing the pencil from the piece of paper you've drawn on. And by paper, I mean the screen. Then we need to create a new CA shape layer, which is what is drawn to the screen. Then finally, we set the shape layer path to what we just drew. Then we fill in a square with a red color. You can change that to whatever color you like, blue, yellow, etc. Then we draw the actual square to the user's screen. So as you can see, that's quite complicated to draw a simple square to the iPhone. So why would you actually use Core Graphics if it's this involved? Well, there's a few reasons. It runs faster than UIKit when you're developing games in SpriteKit, and also you need a view or shape that will adjust dynamically to data. So for example, I have an animation here of a button you can make, which is a circle that transforms into a square. So that's something you could use it for, or you could be showing stock charts for the stock prices that dynamically updates. So you will need to use something like this to keep on drawing the latest stocks on the line to the screen. So pretty much use UIKit where you can, which is objects such as UI text boxes, buttons, views, and so on. And if this does not solve your problem, then start looking at Core Graphics. So now we've done that, how about we draw a circle to the screen? So to do that, we're going to add a function which will draw the circle for us. So we'll name it function circle path with center. The center is going to be CG point type. Finally, we'll do the radius, which will be the radius of the circle, which will be a CG float. And this is going to return a UI bias path. So we'll do let circle path equals UI bias path. We're going to return this circle path at the end. And then what we need to do circle path dot add arc. With center is going to be center. Radius is going to be the radius. The start angle is going to be minus CG float bracket m underscore pi, and angle is going to be minus CG float m underscore pi divided by 2. And clockwise is going to be true. So I'll just expand that out a bit so we can see it all in the one line. And we need to copy this line of code, and we need to have a grand total of 4 times. The second line is going to be minus CG float m pi divided by 2 for the starting angle, and the angle will be 0. For the next line, the start angle will be 0, and angle will be CG float m pi divided by 2. And finally, the final line just will be CG float m pi divided by 2. And the end angle is going to be CG float and in brackets m pi. And then return circle path. So to draw the circle on the screen, we'll do let circle equals CA shape layer. So this circle dot path equals circle path with center. Center will be CG point. We'll do the X as 200 and the Y as 400. And the radius we'll say is 50. We'll do dot CG path. To the circle dot fill color equals UI color dot blue dot CG color. And finally we'll do self dot U dot layer dot add sub layer, and we'll add the circle to our screen. So let's run that now and see the circle being drawn. Alright, so we can see we have a circle as well as our square now. So drawing a circle is quite complicated. Essentially what is happening here is in this circle path with center, we're drawing an arc of the circle for each side. So the top right, bottom left, and top left. Once that's drawn, it will return that circle path, and we'll fill that with the color blue and draw it to the screen. So you can actually draw a circle in Core Graphics just with a few lines of code. The reason you wouldn't use an arc is if you wanted something like a semicircle, 3/4 of a circle, etc. And you can join up these arcs to make fancy graphics like waves and so on. So that's why I drew it with an arc, just to show you how they actually work with Core Graphics. So that's an introduction to Core Graphics, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and you can download the source code for this app below.